YouTube family, what's good? What's good? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I really appreciate you taking time out your day to visit this little old channel. I really appreciate it. And like I do in my previous videos, I'm not doing nothing until you press the like button. That's my thing, right? So we're gonna sit here and just wait. We're gonna wait because I know, all right? So I know if you know what I mean? So I'm not doing nothing until you press the like button. I ain't doing nothing. We're gonna sit here. I'm tripping. But again, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to check out my channel. I really appreciate it. Check out my other videos as well. Personally, I think it's very informative. But today, you know, on a serious note, we're coming up on, I believe it was in July, we're coming up on 10 years since Philando Castile was killed by that police officer in Minnesota. And today, again, because we're coming up on 10 years, and also later on this year, I'm gonna make a reaction video to the Sean Bell shooting. If you don't know, look that up. Sean Bell, this, I believe, November. I remember it clear as day when it happened. Will be 20 years for Sean Bell that he was killed by police in Queens. But like I said, today, I'm going to talk about and react. Again, this is a reaction channel, and we're going to be reacting to the Philando Castile shooting. He was killed by police in Minnesota in 2016. I'm not going to show the, that gory video because it's just not necessary. If you want to see it, I've watched it several times, critiquing it, because when that happened, I was in federal law enforcement at the time. I had left the Atlanta Police Department. So at the time I was in federal law enforcement. So I was watching it, and I feel like, when you are in a line of work, I feel like you should always study cases, situations, and you can learn from it, and you can learn how you would react in a situation. So we're about to get into the video, and after the video, I'm going to personally break down my opinion regarding the entire traffic stop. All right, so let's get into the video.
It comes just days after a Minnesota police officer was acquitted. The country saw that video of Philando Castile, his girlfriend, capturing it on Facebook Live in the aftermath of that shooting. Tonight here, for the first time, the other view from the officer's dash cam. Here's ABC's Alex Perez.
Tonight, that newly released dash cam video. St. Anthony, Minnesota police officer Geronimo Yanez had pulled Philando Castile over for a traffic stop.
The reason I pulled you over, your brake lights are out. You have your license insurance?
And that's when Castile reveals he has a gun. Less than 40 seconds after approaching the car, Yanez opens fire.
Sir, I have to tell you, I do have a firearm on me. Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out.
Yanez firing 7 shots.
I told him to get his hand out.
Castile's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, is streaming the aftermath of the incident live on Facebook.
He let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm.
On that live stream, Reynolds' 4-year-old daughter could be heard trying to comfort her mother as they sat in a nearby patrol car.
It's okay, I'm right here with you.
The new video showing the young girl after the shooting as she ran out of the car into the arms of another officer. Last Friday, Yanez walked out of a Minnesota courtroom a free man after a jury acquitted him. Thousands taking to the streets in protest after the decision. Castile's family argues they have been denied justice. The St. Anthony Police Department says they are working on a separation agreement, and Yanez will not be returning to the force. David?
All right, let me break down, again, my opinion regarding this unfortunate situation, right? So first, the probable cause for the stop, it was legit, right? The probable cause for you who don't know, I'm paraphrasing, right? I don't know the actual definition, but it's the mere set of facts or circumstances that would lead a reasonable and prudent person to believe that a crime has occurred. That sounds like that's legit, the definition, right? But what happened was, to graduate the police academy for APD in 2010, You had to be able to recite the Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects. I can do that. And you had to be able to recite the definition of probable cause, right? So that's what probable cause is. So the officer said, you know, the reason for the stop was something regarding his tail light. So the probable cause to pull him over was legit. So I think the breakdown with this communication was the officer asked him for some documents. I believe he provided one and he had to retrieve the other one. But I believe with him getting ready to retrieve the other one, I think while he was getting ready to retrieve it was when he let the officer know, by the way, I'm armed. And then it gets into the officer telling him, sounding like he was comfortable, saying, okay, don't pull it out or don't reach for it. And the passenger, his girlfriend, Mr. Castile's girlfriend, was saying he's not. And Mr. Castile himself was saying, I'm not. I personally, again, you know, from that angle, obviously we can't see what that officer saw in that moment. So it's hard to judge. But again, with my knowledge, training, and experience, I for sure judged. And I'm gonna give you my judgment at the end. But I feel like in that moment, I feel like Mr. Castile was probably reaching for the document, and this officer was thinking he was reaching for his firearm. Again, I'm gonna give my judgment at the end, all right? One of my many problems, right? The last shot was fired at like 1 minute and 19 seconds, I believe, roughly into the incident, right? And it was over 5 minutes before a med kit was retrieved to even provide some life-saving measures to Mr. Castile. That's terrible. That's terrible. There's no excuse for that, right? What you all may not know, right? When you take, as a police officer, when you take somebody into custody, when you use any kind of force, especially deadly force, that person is your responsibility. You are responsible for them. By policy, I'm sure with every agency in the United States of America, you are to provide medical aid as much as you can until an ambulance or the fire department arrives on scene. But it's your responsibility. That's your person. Now you are responsible for them. So the fact that that officer held Mr. Castile at gunpoint for so long, I thought it was ridiculous, because there's no excuse for that, right? He had a second officer, right? That second officer could have taken the girlfriend out of the car, put her in cuffs, secure her, put her on the sidewalk, or move her away from the vehicle, right? With her daughter sitting next to her, right? And then they could have re-engaged, assessed Mr. Castile, saw that he wasn't a threat. And if you felt that he slightly was, you can't see the firearm, put him in handcuffs, and you're supposed to provide medical attention to him. There's no excuse for over 5 minutes going by when you could have been providing some sort of medical attention to him that could have potentially saved his life. There's no excuse for that. Like I said, it was over 5 minutes before one of the officers on scene went to retrieve a med kit. And an ambulance didn't arrive until, I believe, over 7 minutes, right? So all around, this was poor. The way this officer and officers went about providing medical aid, it was just poor. It was all around just poor. This is, like, in my opinion, remember this channel, this reaction channel is based off of my knowledge, training, and my experience, in my opinion. I think the way they handled the situation after he was shot was terrible. I think it was terrible. This is not what we learned in the police academy, right? There's 2 officers there, like I just said. The girlfriend could have been secured. You could have secured Mr. Castile and provided medical attention. Just my opinion. So here is my judgment and or opinion about the initial interaction in the shooting. I will say, yes, we all cannot see what the viewpoint of the officer, right? When he was looking at a sort of downward position at Mr. Castile while he was in the vehicle. If you watch my do's and don'ts of a traffic stop, that's one of my do's, right? One of my do's. Because personally, like I said in my video, I'm always armed. I got my CCW for 44 states. I am, at least 44. I'm always armed. I said in my video, I recommend that you don't say nothing about your firearm unless you're asked to be removed from the vehicle, right? Pennsylvania versus Mims. If a police officer tells you to step out of the vehicle, you have to step out, right? Pennsylvania versus Mims. That's when me personally, my opinion, that's when I would say, okay, officer, no problem. I just want to let you know why my hand, you see where my hands is, and I'm shooting a video, and it's automatic for me. I have my hands right here. Okay, officer, I just want to let you know I am armed, and my hands are going to stay here, and he or she, they're going to tell me exactly what they want me to do. And if I don't like what they're telling me, I'm going to say, officer, I'm a little concerned. Would you mind just reaching to get the weapon yourself? Because I don't want any sort of, I don't want any sort of overreaction on the officer's part, right? Because again, you don't know who you're dealing with. So in my opinion, regarding this officer, my opinion, I feel like he was scary as hell. And once he heard I got a gun, he just flipped out, and it's just scary, right? There are a lot of scary police officers out there, right? And you all, you people watching my channel, I think you all need to move accordingly, right? Realize you may be dealing with a scary officer, and this traffic stop, this police encounter could cost you your life. So you got to move accordingly. I feel like the officer was scary, especially when he heard Mr. Castile said he had a firearm, asked him to reach for something, and when Mr. Castile was going to get it, he overreacts, feeling like he's grabbing his gun, and shoots and kills him. That's my opinion. Do I feel like the shooting was justified? In my opinion, absolutely not. He's lucky he got away, with being found not guilty. But had he have had a body cam, we would have had a whole different outlook on the situation. And I don't feel like his trial would have went the way it went, because like I said, I feel like he was just scary. Again, you asked for Mr. Castile to retrieve something, he was going to do it. And because he told you he had a gun in the midst of going for it, you overreact, you shoot and kill him. And don't render aid to him. It's tragic, it's tragic. I can't remember if he had any kids. Definitely know he has family. And it's, we're coming up on 10 years. And, my prayers still go out to them, because I'm sure, especially 10 years later, they're still feeling it. And in 2016, this was a time when we were going through so much as far as law enforcement and citizen encounters. We had the Mike Brown situation. That was in 2014. There was a gentleman, I can't remember his name, in Louisiana, selling CDs. That situation went left. Officers killed him. You had the gentleman in New York selling cigarettes. The officers killed him. They choked him. And there was so much going on at that time. 2014, 2015, 2016, there was so much going on. But, rest in peace to Mr. Castile. It's 10 years. And people, go check out my do's and don'ts video. You know what I mean? Because again, I want you all coming out on the other side of these police encounters alive, right? And like I tell you, like I've said, just be aware, right? You may be dealing with a scary officer. You may be dealing with an inexperienced officer. And again, you may deal with an officer that he see tattoos on somebody's face, and he or she is automatically just flabbergasted and they scared. So just move accordingly when you're out there. Stay safe. And on a lighter note, check out semperbkclothing.com. With a website somewhere on here is a website. Check out semperbkclothing.com, the sponsor of this video and all my videos. I don't want the Marine Corps coming for me. Simplify to all my Marines. Marine Corps, don't come for me anymore. This shirt ain't on my website. So don't. But this hat is, people. You know what I'm saying? You see the hat? You see the hat? Certain boy. We don't want no friend from them. I don't like new friends. So go check. I got a hat like this on that website, all right? And you can check out some of the products. A few of the products right there. All right, you see it? But go check out my website. I appreciate you checking out my page. Like the video, share the video with your loved ones. All right, peace.